to try and monitor the chat box pretty closely. So if you scroll down to the bottom of your screen, there should be your opportunity to chat there. So if you have questions or need to know more information, feel free to ask in the chat box, or if you need to talk out loud, that's completely fine. I have muted everybody as you came in. So hopefully we don't have any background noise, but if you do need to let us know what's going on, you're more than willing to unmute yourself and talk. So we're gonna basically spend tonight going over the different things that are offered at Showcase Showdown, explain to you how they're going to happen, and then give you a chance to be able to ask any questions you might have to make sure that you feel prepared for a virtual Showcase Showdown experience. So our prepared presentation presenters are not here this evening, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about that contest. I know that we have almost 40 kids enrolled in prepared presentation, so many of you probably may be here for that. We are going to ask you to pre-record all prepared presentations, so you can do that on whatever device works best for you. I did have someone call me and ask me if they were going to do like a PowerPoint similar to what we're doing now, if they could use Zoom. That's completely fine. However, you will need to have yourself in the box on the side so people can see your facial expressions and what you're doing. So you can't just record a Zoom with your video off, but you would have to record it with your video showing and then you doing the presentation. I would also suggest that if you're not talking about your slide, or if the slide isn't part of what you're doing, then in turn you stop sharing. So that would mean that then that would go away and you would become big. And you should probably do it in speaker view so that your face is bigger in the screen rather than being a teeny tiny part in the corner or something. So if you are doing a presentation, you probably don't want to have the the PowerPoint showing. If you're not using PowerPoint, you're just speaking, then we would ask that you just record it normally. You'll want to dress appropriately, just like you would if you were actually at the contest. You don't want your hat on, you don't want to be fudging with your fingers and your hair, that kind of thing. So it'd be almost exactly the same as if you were live. They're asking then that by the 16th of June, that you turn in your prepared presentation via a YouTube link directly to the contest coordinators. They will be sending an email directly to you in the next couple of days to give you all the details of how this looks. So you don't need your own device to do prepared speaking. You don't need anything except for a way to record a video and then upload it to YouTube. When they send out the information about the prepared presentation, they'll send out a link of how to upload it to YouTube. However, if you do have any problems, you can always contact them or myself and we can help you with that if you're struggling. If you don't have a way to record on any devices at home, even a cell phone would work. I'm sure that you can always call your 4-H educator and they can help you to figure out maybe a device that you could use to do that. So that's how and then the prepared presentations will be judged the day of the 17th. They won't be live, so there won't be any feedback verbally. We will get some written score sheets to send back to you, but there won't be an actual live portion of the presentation contest for prepared presentations. So they'll judge you and then we will give out that information, the awards, on Wednesday evening, the 17th at 7 p.m. And you should have gotten that information in your email, and we'll send a Zoom link out for that later within the next week and a half. Someone did in the chat ask when those are due again. I'm pretty sure they told me that those will be due on the 16th of June. But be sure to watch an email directly from Jody Jacobson or Kelly Chichester that will give you more specific information on when that's due, and any other questions that you may have, they'll be able to answer that in the email that they send you. So are there any other questions about how that, once again, it's a YouTube link, you'll send them a video and you can use a screen if you want to. And if you have another way to use a screen, feel free to do that. We just know that we live in a world of Zoom, so we're pretty used to that. And that's kind of the one thing that people have asked me if that's okay. And that is completely okay as long as your face is also on the screen, or your body, or whatever portion of you want to record so that people can see you. So and if you have questions about the prepared presentation, feel free to answer that in the chat box. I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen so you can see the agenda for what comes next. So now I'm gonna turn it over to Emily Haver. Emily, do you need to share your screen at all?
Yes, I guess.
Okay, so I will just stop share, and you have hosting ability, so feel free to share your screen and tell us about how the impromptu contest will go.
Wonderful. So hi, I'm Emily Haver. I'm the 4-H educator in Carbon County, and I am running the impromptu presentation contest. I'm creating the email to send out to all of you at this moment. I was going to wait and send it after this meeting to see if there were any questions that I could address and answer in that email for everyone, in case you all who are prepared in here have questions I hadn't thought about. So the way that this contest will work, it's going to be live. You will have a scheduled time based on whether you're a junior, intermediate, or a senior to come in. And just for your own comfort of ideas, the room looks kind of like this. So there's one Zoom link that everyone will join, no matter who you are, in this main room. And once you're in that main room, I, as the host, will put you into a prep room where you will choose, just like usual, in-person, impromptu. You get 3 topics. You choose one. You get 3 minutes to prepare your speech on that topic. And then after your 3 minutes are up, I move you into your presentation room where the judges are. You give your speech in your time limit based on your age group. And then you say thank you, and you can leave the meeting. And that's it. So judges will probably not give verbal feedback. They'll just write their feedback on the score sheet. And then you will get that after the contest. And then awards, please correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, awards for this contest are the following evening on Thursday, June 18th at 7 p.m.
That is correct, yes. So half the awards will be the 16th at 7 p.m. and half the awards will be the 17th at 7 p.m. Those will all be done by the state leadership team virtually.
So that's all I've got, kind of a basic overview. Does anyone who is doing the impromptu presentation contest have questions?
All right.
No? Okay. If you end up having them later, you'll be getting an email from me this evening, and you can just respond to that.
Thank you very much, Emily. So going back, I think the next one we're going to talk about is table setting. And Megan, you're a co-host too, so feel free if you need to share the screen, you're welcome to it. And you're muted.
Hey guys, my name is Megan Brittingham and I am the assistant to table setting. Our contest is Thursday, June 18th. We're starting at 1 o'clock on Zoom. We're like Emily Haver. We were gonna wait to send our email out until after tonight, just to make sure we didn't forget anything in our planning. What we are asking for all of our table setters is please email your photographs of the final table setting that you have put together. Email those to Emily Swinier no later than June 16th at 12 noon. Please remember to include your name and your county. Our Zoom will be at 1 o'clock on June 18th. And if you have to share a device with a brother or a sibling or a sister and a sibling, that's okay because we're ready for you to do that. Shared devices are okay. We were asked to prepare a little bit about what our room will look like for those that have never done this before. So when you get into our main Zoom room, you'll see these 2 smiling faces, and we're going to be in that room with you as well. So we're all going to join in one room. We have 3 judges lined up, and we will then put you into breakout rooms based on your age division. So if you're a junior, you'll go into the junior interview room. If you're an intermediate, you'll go into the intermediate room. And if you're a senior, we'll pop you into the senior room. In that room with you, the table setter will be the judge, a different judge for each age division, as well as a room moderator who's just there to help answer questions. Your judge will have already looked at the photographs you've provided us, and will have the same score sheet that is available on the State 4-H website, and they will ask you questions of their choosing. Did I cover it all, or do you have questions? I think, Sarah, our awards are that same Thursday night at 7, right? So we have the quickest turnaround of anyone, but I'm confident in our ability.
Yes, so the awards for that one will be that evening. And like I said, we will send award links out before Showcase Showdown starts so that you know what's going on. So are there any questions for Megan? Once again, like I said in my email initially where you got this, is that every single presenter or contest coordinator will send you an email. Like I said, most of them today, I think Ticey sent hers out this morning to let you know what's happening with our contest. So feel free to then correspond with them about questions you might have. Okay.
I do have a question.
Great.
Okay, so if all of the juniors, let's say, are in the same breakout room with the judge, will they all be hearing each other answer the questions out loud?
That's a great question, Erin. And the answer is no. We're going to send kids in one at a time. So to pick on you, for example, because you have 2 juniors and an intermediate, I believe, we will send in first junior named Noah first on the same device. And then we'll have to wait for Noah to get out of that interview before we send in another Hinton child into a room.
Thank you.
No problem. So I hope that makes sense for everyone, is that, hope that makes sense.
Any other questions about table setting? So once again, this is kind of a combo contest where you will be required to submit a picture ahead of time, and then there will be live interviews. So I think it's a combination of the last 2 contests kind of put together where you're submitting something and then you're going to interview live with the judge.
So this is Donna, and I'm not involved in that particular contest, but what just came to mind is you said that it was okay if kids had shared devices, and if they're popping in and out of the breakout rooms, will the shared siblings potentially hear the questions that they're not really supposed to hear when they're not in the breakout room?
Potentially, it depends on where they are. So we have 3 different judges for each age division, and our judges are not required to ask the same questions of every young person. And it also depends on what you're doing at home as well. So if your kids are all gathered around one device, they sure could hear similar questions if they're in the same age division. But we haven't instructed our judges to ask the same questions.
And I think that just kind of a follow-up to that is that we hope that all of you as parents and members understand that we know that virtual is not the best way to do everything, but it's where we're at right now. We want to continue to offer opportunities to you. So we hope that all of you will have 4-H integrity and know that if something like that's going on, that your kids possibly could be in a different room than your other kids. So I think that's going to be the same with all of our contests, especially if you have siblings. There aren't a lot of other contests that can have shared devices as we continue to kind of see that. But once again, this is 4-H, and we hope that all of our 4-H members and families enter this virtual showcase channel with some integrity, and I know that you will. So. Okay, once again, if you have questions, Megan will send you an email, or you can also put any questions that come up as we're thinking in the chat box too, if you forgot to ask one and you want to ask later. All right, I think Amber, you are up next, and you're going to talk to us about what Dog Skill-a-thon looks like.
Yeah, so I'm Amber Armejo, and I'm from Washoe County, and we'll be running the Dog Skill-a-thon, and it looks like it's on the 18th, which is Thursday in the morning. And so I'm going to share my screen here. Have a little, you can see, did I share it right? Which one do you see? Where am I at?
We haven't seen anything yet.
Okay, share screen. Okay, so this will be kind of what the breakout room looks like for the juniors and, oh, it's not livestock, where are we at? Right here, juniors and intermediates. So we will start, we'll have an 8:30 a.m. Where we will do some technology help. We'll kind of make sure everybody can connect, that you can see, that you know how to get into Canvas. Those will answer those types of questions at 8:30. We are going to use what we call, it's an online buzzer system as part of the Quiz Bowl part. So we're going to use buzzin.live, and so it is going to be used off of a phone, or we tested it on computers and it works on iPads. So we do need to have, you need to have that. So it's very, very similar to Kahoot, but it uses us as a buzzer system so that we can have you buzz in just like we would if you were live. Usually we have those hand buzzers. We're going to use our because we are doing this through virtual. So we'll go through all of those technology things at 8:30. Juniors and intermediates will start at 9 o'clock, and we will do the quiz bowl part of it. And that is very similar to how it was last year and has been in the past. We will ask some questions. You'll buzz in on your phone. We'll track those scores, so it's all live right there, and everybody does it together. Then after the quiz bowl, we will break those juniors and intermediates into, you can see the rooms that they'll go into. So we'll break those juniors into their separate breakout room. Then we will have, they will go through the external and internal parts. And so is what we're going to use. I'm going to send you in your email, if you are a part of this contest, you will get a sheet kind of like this, and I will email it to you so that you can write your answers, because all of those pictures, those parts, the pieces of the stations and that part of the contest will all be live. So we'll show those things, and then you'll get a sheet like this where you can go in, write your answers, and then you'll have a few, we'll have you a set time, I think it's 5 minutes, that you'll get to go and input those into the Canvas account, into your Canvas. So we'll make sure you can get on that before the contest starts. This is just for you to write down your answers just like you would at the contest. Then you can go back and put it into Canvas after when we get to that inputting point.
Amber, if I can just interject too, just everybody who's wondering what Canvas is, if you haven't used it, just to let you know, the next 4 contests that we're talking about all are using Canvas. So we'll do a Canvas tutorial at the end of tonight's session. So keep your Canvas questions to the end, so that way we don't have to ask them continually, because they may get answered before then.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize we didn't talk about that yet. So yes, they'll input them in there, and then we'll all come back in and we'll do the same thing with the breeds. So we'll bring you back in, and we'll again show pictures live, either through a PowerPoint or under the document camera, and show you those breeds. And then you'll get a handout sheet that looks like this, just like you would at the contest. So it'll help you kind of track that stuff. Again, I will email these sheets to you after, sometime this week, and you can put what you do, have to identify what breed and what AKC group that dog belongs to. So you'll write, and then you'll get a time limit. I believe we set it at 15 minutes to go into and put that into your Canvas account. And then that's how we will score them. So you don't have to share anything through the chat box or any of that. You just score it through Canvas. So the juniors and intermediates will start at 8:30 with technology help. And then the seniors will be a completely different link, and they will start at 10:30. And or did we say 10? I can't remember. Let me make sure. 10. We did 10 o'clock with technology help and 10:30 with the actual contest. And it'll be very similar as to what the juniors and intermediates will be. They'll just be different questions. So it's not the same questions. It never usually is. They'll have different quiz bowl questions, different breeds, different parts. All of that will all be different. So there's no sharing of that information as we move from each age division. Questions?
All right, does anybody have questions for the dog skills-a-thon? This one's a little bit more intense. I think they'll get that way as we continue to go on. So feel free to ask those now, or once again, Amber will, like she said, be sending you stuff. Amber, they're asking if you can show the senior one again, the chart, so people can see it.
Sure, I didn't show it very long either.
Yeah.
Are you seeing which screen? I have 2 screens.
We're seeing the one that says dog skill-a-thon Zoom seniors,
So the seniors, we're actually not going to move you into any breakout rooms because there are so few seniors. We'll probably just leave you all in one room. So the seniors looks a little bit easier, but they do have obviously more. And you can find all of that information on the website, but they have to do like external, internal, skeletal. They'll have 3 stations where the juniors and intermediates will have 2 different stations. And then of course, everybody has breeds. And seniors identify 50 breeds. Juniors and intermediates identify 25 different breeds.
So just some logistics here so that you know. I think that in this contest, if you have a junior and a senior or an intermediate and a senior in your home, they could use the same device because the contests are at different times. However, if you do have a junior and an intermediate, you'll probably need at some point, especially to enter the Canvas information, you will need to have a separate device for each one of your children.
And I think Dawn's going to address some of that when she talks about the Canvas part at the end of that. So, and it might be that you could maybe connect, and please visit with your 4-H educators. You might be able to figure out something there, but I think Dawn will talk more about that.
Okay, perfect. So we'll address the device concerns at the end of our meeting. Thanks, Amber. All right, does anybody else have any other dog skill-a-thon questions? Okay, I think next we're going to move on to Tycee, and she's going to talk to us about produce judging, and she's on her phone because I don't think her microphone works. So she's going to chat on the phone with us. She's not talking on the phone to some friend. She's really talking to us. So go ahead, Tycee.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to share the screen, and it's similar to what you have already seen, and it will be our produce judging room. So we're going to start at 9 a.m. We'll have the room open early so you guys can make sure your technology all works, but we're going to start in Zoom in one main room. And this is where we are going to do all 8 of our classes as well as our ID line. And so it'll probably take about 2 hours to do all of that. And then once we are done with the classes and the ID line, we will shift over to giving reasons and answering questions. And so when it's your turn to give reasons, we'll move you into a reasons room based on your age category or and which reasons you're giving. And we'll also have different breakout rooms for questions that we will move you in. After the contest, all of the classes and the ID line is done, and you'll answer all those questions in Canvas. I called it WyoLearn in my email to you. Canvas and WyoLearn are the same thing. So I'll send another email out later to make sure we're not confused on where to go to answer our questions. But after you've done or filled out all of your classes in your ID line, we will move the seniors to another Zoom link, and you will get that link after you are finished with your classes. And that is where the seniors will do their reasons because they have more reasons to answer or go through than the juniors and intermediates. So we'll start all together and we'll do all of the classes and all of the ID lines together, and then we'll break out and do reasons and questions. Are there any questions?
So any questions? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Tycee, you said that then we would input our answers to the ID line into the classes into WyoLearn/Canvas.
Correct. Yep. And there will be a practice class, so you'll have a week to give that a practice and see how that all works.
So any questions? This one's a little bit different because they're going to use a document camera to do all of the line ID and the classes live. So you will need to be on that Zoom to see what those look like and be able to put those answers down. So that's just a little bit different than some of the other ones, is that there will be that opportunity to do most of the contest that way. All right, any other questions for Tycee about produce judging? Okay, we had a chat. Somebody came up with a question about impromptu speeches. Those will be assigned times. So they start at 1 o'clock, but Emily will be sending you a list of what time you're actually going so that people aren't just hanging out in the Zoom room all day. So she'll say one person is at 1, you might be at 1:10, 1:20, and there may be 3 people all at 1, so because a junior, senior, intermediate. So Emily will be sending you a direct email once we get all the, right now what we're doing on our end is we're working through all the technical issues, asking educators to assign teams, picking team captains, trying to make sure that we have all of your information right. So once that's done, then Emily and Megan for table setting will assign times, and Tycee will get a hold of you to make sure that you're in Canvas and have all the information you need. So Okay, we're gonna move on. Dawn, she kind of is heading up a lot of this online stuff because she's been doing it for a while. She's gonna talk about livestock skills-on, hippology, and Canvas. So she's gonna answer all the rest of your burning questions.
That's not true, but we'll give her a shot. So first I'm going to start with, did you care, Sarah, which one's first? I didn't know what your agenda said.
No, I don't think it matters. I put livestock skills-on, but I think whatever you want to talk about first is fine by me.
Okay, let's talk about livestock skill-on because I think that it's a little bit less in terms of this little graphic. So livestock skill-a-thon is similar to all the others that we've talked about, is that you will come together into a main Zoom room. And in there, what will happen is it's a little bit different in the next two contests is because you get to do them as teams. And we want you to be able to work together and talk with each other and interact. So what we're going to do is that you'll come in and get your instructions just to make sure everybody's working. The same thing at 12:30, we will have a technology session in case somebody needs to practice or test their microphones and things like that. So we'll have a practice for about a half an hour, anybody that needs help. You don't have to get on at 12:30 unless you need help with technology. And then we'll start with 1 o'clock, just some final announcements. And then from there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna build breakout sessions so that there will be an individual Zoom room for each team. And I think that I've got most of the teams on here. We're still waiting on some coaches to declare them, but I think that this is the majority of the teams on here as far as that we have for this contest. And so you'll be moved into a Zoom room with your teammates. And so you'll be in a Zoom room, and then we're gonna work it differently, is that we're gonna move a facilitator or a person that's delivering you the contest into your room. So we'll move a person into the room with you, and they will give you the breeds or the equipment, feeds, whatever they're giving you. You as a team get to interact and talk and come up with your answers. And then when that facilitator is done with their portion of the contest, we'll move the facilitator out. Then we'll move a new facilitator in with you. And so there'll be different people administering different parts of the contest to your team, but you do get to talk and interact and work together on that. So that's a difference of this contest than like produce judging, where it's an individualized thing, or dog skill funds individualized. All those ones are individualized. On this contest is that we anticipate that it really will probably take at least the 2 hours to get this done. If you're looking at time-wise, we're hoping to get started at 1, and obviously we've never done this virtually, but if you're trying to plan time, at least I'd plan the 2 hours that typically we give at the contest, live contest, and if we need a little more time, we will, or if you get done early, that's okay as well. So the difference in this livestock skill and the horse ecology we're going to talk about in a minute is that we're having all the kids come together in one Zoom room because we don't have a ton of teams. So we're going to leave all the junior teams and the senior teams in a session together, and then we'll break you down from there. So is there any questions about this one? Sir, I really can't see that chat box at all. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was me. I asked you to maybe talk about the role of the captain so they understand what that means, because they may be asked when their teams will be the captain.
Yeah, I think the captain thing is a really important thing. So how this is going to work, thanks, Sarah, is that each team will designate a team captain. So because we only want the answers from this contest to be submitted by one team member, not by every member in Canvas, okay? So you guys as a team need to decide who your team captain is. For you volunteer coaches or parents or extension agents, whoever's on that's working with this kid or with the kids that are in this contest, is that probably need to select youth that has maybe some working knowledge of Canvas, that maybe has used it before, would be helpful, so that they know how to maneuver in and out of that, because they will be putting that information in there for their team. So as you work through that, maybe that's something you guys could practice and make sure that whoever's going to be your team captain does know how to use Canvas and put that information in there. So your team captain for the next two are really important. So maybe that's a conversation that you guys have among your team members, with your coaches, with your extension agent, whoever's helping you, to make sure that you select the right person to do that.
Well, and Dawn, and maybe this has changed, but my understanding too was that captain will have to read the questions to the group for the test. Is that still happening?
That is happening in horsepology. In
Okay.
Livestock Skillathon, that will not happen except for seniors. There's correct. On the seniors, one of the rotation stations is technology, and those questions will be put in Canvas. So in the technology round, is the kids will read, you know, somebody, whoever their team captain is going to read it, and then the kids will answer that. So that's important to know that whoever that is has that ability to maybe speak and communicate clearly.
Yeah. And so I think, you know, when you think of the captain, you maybe think of the person who's the most knowledgeable or in charge, but in this case, you may want to really think about that role differently, because what you're looking for is someone who's willing and able to read the questions and willing and able to put information into the computer. So the team captain may not be your strongest, best question answer. It may more be your strongest technology person or your person who's most comfortable doing that. So just think about that as you work with your 4-H educator to designate who your team captain is.
I was going to say the other thing too, as we are going to talk about Canvas in a minute, and we'll get there, but there really will just be one youth that is put into the Canvas account. So whoever that team captain is who will enroll in this contest. Not everybody will. We'll talk about more of that in a minute. But is there other questions on Livestock Skillathon? Okay. Hopefully this is going to roll right over to horsepology. Can you see that? Beautiful. Okay. So this one, it just looks scary, I think, but it's not scary at all. So this one is the same format. So it just looks like it's a little scary because there's more teams. So as I said, these are preliminary teams that I pulled out of there from the data that I could crunch. So if there looks like you're missing a team on here, we will absolutely get those fixed. Sarah's working on finalizing those from your educators. But so it's the same kind of concept in here, is that the junior hippology kids will come onto a Zoom room. And junior hippology, remember, are really junior intermediate age kids, because we call them juniors in hippology because it's a team competition. So 8 to 13-year-olds are considered junior for both Livestock Skillathon and horsepology. So once again, we'll have an 8:30 technology, I can't say that, whatever, a tech session if you need help, and then we're going to start at 9 o'clock. And this will be the same way, as that you will be moved into a room with your teammates, and this is a competition that you get to do together and that you get to talk together. And so we encourage that in this contest. And so we're going to do the same things, that we'll move the facilitators into your room. They'll deliver the contest information to you either via a document camera or a PowerPoint slide, whatever it is, how they're going to disseminate that. Maybe some videos. There'll be lots of different, I think, fun delivery methods that maybe even at the real contest we haven't been able to maybe use, like video footage in this. I think we are going to try to use some video footage. So that's exciting. And then each facilitator will rotate through the sessions on here and deliver the information. So really why this looks much busier, maybe this slide does, is because we have 9 teams, junior teams, which is a lot more. So that's why it looks a little bit busier. And the same way in this contest is you do need to designate a team captain as well, because it'll be one person that does enter that information into Canvas for your team. The other thing that I guess I should have shared with Livestock Skillathon that is the same on horsepology is you guys do have a group think question or problem, whatever you want to call it, for both of these contests. Is that, and that's something that you're given, and that you, in the horsepology contest, one of your rotations will be you'll given the question and then you'll have time to formulate your answer, and then we'll move the judges in with you. Instead of, you know, you moving around, we'll move the judges in with you. You'll present your information to the group problem to those judges, and then when you're finished, we'll move the judges back out into the next room. So just know that, and that'll be the same. I'm sorry I missed that on Livestock Skillathon, is that there's a group think question in Livestock Skillathon. It'll be the same way, except for in Livestock Skillathon, you get the question in advance, and those will be coming out tomorrow. So watch for those coming from your educator tomorrow. We'll get that group question out. The difference is in Livestock Skillathon is you don't have time to prep, because you need to come prepared for that question in horse apology, you're given time to correct. So with the senior horse apology, you will be on a separate Zoom. So you're going to get moved to a separate Zoom, so you won't be on the same one as the junior intermediates. It is at the same time. So once again, 8:30 will be a tech help session. 9 o'clock the contest will start, and then we'll move you into the rooms. This obviously contest is a little bit more in depth because you have 10 stations to do instead of 7, and so you'll have more to do in this. In this example, this is where Sarah was talking about the test, is that the test will be the last thing you do. So you have longer to do that test because it's a 50-question test, which is pretty long. And so that will be in Canvas. The test questions will directly be in Canvas. So whoever your team leader is will be reading those questions to your teammates, coming up with an answer, and entering the data in Canvas. So it's really important your team leader does know how to use the Canvas program. So is there questions about horse apology?
Sort of. Dawn, one of the questions was, when will we find out who our teams are? And so just so you know, all team designations are done by county. If you don't have enough kids to make a team, you got an email from me today and possibly from Dawn yesterday that basically said, at this point in time, we're not offering the chance to audit this contest like we have in the past where you can participate. Being that we're doing this virtually, there's just not an opportunity for us to be able to do that in the time allotted. So if you don't have a team, you should have gotten an email from me basically letting you know that it wasn't going to work out this year. I also had a couple educators who found some team people today, so we'll be adding a team. But just know that that's kind of where we're at. So if you want to know more about your team, or if your county has teams, you'll need to contact your 4-H educator directly and find out, once again, who's on your team and then who your team captain is. The next question, Dawn, and I'm not sure, Bridget, you may need to help us with this question because I'm not sure it makes sense to me, but her question is, will we Zoom with our teams before the contest? I think that would be up to your county. You would need to talk to your 4-H educator. Maybe you're going to practice to get ready. And so I would hope that you would Zoom in the next couple of weeks with your team, but Dawn, I guess, there's not an opportunity to Zoom with your team before the specific on that day with your contest, correct?
No, there would not be a time that day to do that. So I do advise what Sarah said is to practice that, and we're going to talk about technology in a minute, but if you're going to be doing it over Zoom and not at your extension office, you probably should get together and practice, especially in livestock skillathon and apology that have those group think or group problems that they are able to share in there. The other thing, sorry, I just wanted to add with the team is that every county may have a different way that they select teams. So I do think it's really important that you have a conversation with your 4-H educator, your coach, or whatever, to make sure that there's a clear understanding. What we don't want is for you to show up the day of the contest and not know who your team is, right? Because livestock skillathon, that groupthink problem is given in advance. Like, we're going to give that tomorrow. And we really, 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 really think you should practice that ahead of time. And so when it's connected to the Zoom question, is I would ask your educator to set you up a Zoom and practice the groupthink question this week and practice how you're going to interact over Zoom as a team. And we are I'm going to talk about a practice Canvas thing. It might be really beneficial for you to Zoom and do the practice Canvas thing together, because then you would know how that group leader is going to be able to read out of there or enter information. So I think that's really important that you do find out who your teams are and who else is on your thing. I mean, it might be in some counties that kids have signed up that not everybody knows about as the whole countywide. So please talk to your 4-H educators.
And all that information was sent to 4-H educators on Saturday and then again today. So they'll have an information sheet about who entered from your county and can give you info, the email, phone numbers, whatever, for team members. The next question was from just wondering if we could help know what team numbers are. So for hippology, teams consist between 2 and 5 youth. We offer junior teams and senior teams, which means that anybody who is a junior or intermediate, so anybody 8 to 13, is on the junior team, and you can mix them up. You don't have to have all intermediates or all juniors. The junior teams consist of anybody who's a junior or intermediate. Then we have senior teams, which is anybody 14 and older, and those can't be mixed in. So if you don't have 2 seniors in hippology, then you can't have a hippology team. For livestock skillathon, the numbers are just a tad different. It's 3 to 5. And you can have as many teams as you want. So one county could have 5, nobody does, if shockingly, but I think Ocean County has 2 or 3 team options that they can put together for some of the different contests. So different counties can have more than one team if you have that many kids enrolled. So those were great questions. So hopefully you have time to get together with your teams. And if you have problems and you can't get a hold of your 4-H educator, I'm going to type my email, or you all got an email from me already. Feel free to email me and I can help you to get in contact with them if you're struggling, because all of us are working a little differently as far as how we're able to access communication. So feel free to email me if you're unable to get a hold of your 4-H educator.
Sorry, I was just adding for produce, it's 3 to 4 on a team. So just so you know, but produce and dog skill fund you can do individually, and then they take their scores individually and combine them. So it's 3 to 4 for produce and 3 to 4 for dogs. But if you don't have 3 or 4, you still can compete individually. You just can't in livestock skill fund for psychology. Okay, questions before I go to Canvas about any of the contest as a whole? Did we get everybody's questions answered?
Everything in the chat is answered, so we can, unless somebody has some more, like I said, if they come up, just write them in there and we'll get them answered.
Or unmute yourself. You sure can unmute yourself and talk too. Okay, so what I want to do now is just talk about Canvas and maybe clarify some information about it and answer some questions, even if maybe some of you maybe have used Canvas, because we've done a lot with the livestock judging stuff in Canvas. So maybe some of you guys have used it that way, or maybe somebody in your family is enrolled in an extension Canvas program before. So, so just a couple of things about Canvas is that you do need that electronic device, and it can be a computer, laptop, cell phone, iPad, some type of device to access Canvas. You do have to have a separate email address for each youth if you're doing the individual contest like produce judging or dog skill-a-thon. That's super important. I think Sarah did send out emails today to individuals that maybe had registered under the same email address, as you absolutely need a different email address in order to enter or enroll in Canvas. So that's important. If you're doing one of those team like Pathology or livestock skill-a-thon, is we will only have one youth enrolled in that. It'll be your team, but it'll be under one kid's name. But those other ones, you need separate email addresses. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk you through here of how you get into Canvas so that you can do it. And we have to do this during PowerPoint because we don't have our contests aren't live right now. So I can go show you in a minute the live, but I'm going to walk through this PowerPoint quickly first. Is that to find Canvas, you go to the University of Wyoming website. You'll see this picture right here on the top of it, and you'll know you're at the right website. From there, you scroll clear down to the bottom, and you're gonna find these 2 separate little things at the bottom that are side by side, and I think this is probably the most confusing part of the whole Canvas thing. So please, I think this slide is the most important thing maybe of the whole night, is that you understand this concept, is that if it's your first time enrolling in the class, okay, and each of these contests are considered a class almost on the catalog is how they're going to show up. So if it's the first time that you are going to get into that class or that contest, is you select this little one that has the computer in the hands, okay? That's how you get in there, and that's how you get enrolled. Once you're enrolled and you want to go back into Canvas, then this little one next to it that says WyoLearn with this little login is where you go back into Canvas so that you can get back into your course. So that's really important, because if you've already enrolled in the contest or the course, extension course, is that if you go back through this computer thing, is it doesn't like you very well, like it gets mad. So just know that this is really important, this little difference between this. But both of these are accessed on this UW web page, okay? Once you're in here, and say that it's my first time enrolling, and I'm going to use the practice session that we're going to talk about, but if I was going to enroll in the practice session or dog skill-a-thon or whichever contest you're doing, is I would click on this little computer with the hand. And what happens is there's going to be a course catalog, and there's more than just this 4-H showcase stuff in there. There's, I don't even know, gardening stuff, windmill stuff, like lots of classes, but you need to pick the one that you're going to do, is that's how you would enroll in it. But what I want to tell you is that we are going to pre-populate these for you. What that means is that if you're doing produce or dog skill-a-thon, we're going to go in there and enroll you in this so that you kind of can bypass or skip this step. And in the livestock skill-a-thon and apology, we will enroll your team captain. So that's really just so you guys know that. But I'm going to step through this whole process so that you guys that are going in here know how to go in here. So from here is that if you were going to enroll in the class, and I'm going to go through this because we are using Canvas for other things in 4-H, so I think it's good that we just teach you how to do this. But once you pick the course of the contest you want to go into, you click on it, you enroll in it, and then you put your information in here, okay? The challenge becomes is if your email address has ever been used for Canvas at the University of Wyoming, you already have an account, and that's where we get on the struggle bus, right? So say that you have an email address that somebody already did the virtual livestock judging contest in, you're already in there. Or say it's the email address that mom took the gardening class on, you're on, that email address is in there. So that's really important to know that. So in here, then this is how you would get back in there, as you would put sign in here, and you don't refill out your information. So that's kind of an important thing. So once you are enrolled and you get to go into Canvas, this is what your dashboard looks like, and that's what we call it, is a dashboard. And that's important to know, is that your dashboard shows the classes that you have in the, or the contest that you're enrolled in. So for this example right here, is this person is ready to participate in Dog Skill-a-thon. So it shows up there that I'm ready to be in Dog Skill-a-thon. I click on Dog Skill-a-thon, and then it brings me up to this little thing that's called your home screen here, and it shows up under modules. That's just a vocabulary word. But on this example right here is then it shows that I can take this practice class for birth flight. Okay, so if you let me go back. So if you are going to do Dog Skill-a-thon or produce judging, you will have your name already enrolled. We're going to enroll you in there, which means that you will go to this little one right here, this brown screen on the end of that thing, and you'll put in your credentials in here. So that's really important that you have that information to get logged back in. For the horse apology and livestock skill-a-thon, remember only one youth will enter their data here. Once you're in here, I'm going to show you from a different screen what it looks like and how to do a test in just a minute. But before I switch and get out of this, I just want to go over a little bit over the technology requirements for the contest. And this is specifically for the contest that we're using Canvas for. So that's produce, dog skill-a-thon, apology, livestock skill-a-thon. Is that we are asking that your cameras stay on. We are trying to just keep the integrity of the contest as best as we can. And you shouldn't have other electronic devices that they're not using for the contest, which means if they're on their computer, they shouldn't have their cell phone in front of them, right? So they're only using devices that they need for the contest and not everything else. Youth do need their own separate devices for these contests unless they're doing it as a group at the extension office. So Amber jumped off, but Amber was talking about she was going to possibly do livestock skill-a-thon as a team in the back room of Washakie County Extension Office and practice social distancing there and do it from there. And that is great. Like she could project it on the wall and the kids could do it from there, so they could be in the same room type of it doing it. Or if you're doing it as a family pod, and what that means is if I'm doing horse apology and both my team, me and my teammate, that's kind of bad English, but are from the same family, we could share a device in that case. However, otherwise, we really want you to have your own devices, okay? So that's really important to know that. The other thing that's important to know is that, like produce judging, you have to give live reasons, so it's going to be really hard to share devices because we're going to move you in and out of reasons room. Horse apologies at the exact same time, livestock skill-a-thons at the exact same time. So it's really going to be hard to share devices unless you are at the extension office type of a scenario or you're in a family pod. For the individual contest, like dog skill-a-thon produce, we said you need separate email accounts and you'll need to complete it on separate devices, so just know that. As far as that team competitions, we said you'll enter it as a whole team. So we kind of went over that. I'm going to share one more screen, and then we'll let you ask questions here in just a minute.
Just so, as she's saying that screen, just so you know, devices does not mean you have to have a laptop. If you can download the Zoom app on your phone,
sure.
or in the Canvas also, those will work on your phone. Probably not as well to type in, but it doesn't have to be that you each have to have a computer. You can use iPads, tablets, whatever, borrow them from a neighbor, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Anything that you can connect to the internet and that has a camera is more than acceptable. So I just want to show you this from one other view so you can understand. Sorry, I thought I had it opened. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the example of my screen is that, so I'm on the university website, and here's my little login is I put in my email and my password, and I log in here. And I'm just going to show you because it's going to show up lots of courses here. So this brings me into my dashboard, and in my dashboard, this shows that I have enrolled in this animal science class, Sweetwater County Livestock Judging, the virtual contest, and I actually have these 3 down here too. So if you were in produce and dog skillathon, you should have produce and dog skillathon there. So just so you know that, that's how they'll show up on your dashboard. So when it's time to go to, let's just do this livestock skillathon. Well, I don't know, this Sweetwater County Livestock Judging. When I'm ready to do this, for example, I pull it up and this is what it's going to look like, is that you have this modules and then you have these classes or whatever underneath of it, or you can have multiple modules. So this is how it looks like when you get in there. I just wanted you guys to see that from a different perspective. Maybe I can't go back. I wanted you to go back to the modules. Let me go back to this one. This virtual contest one has a lot of modules. Like there's one there that says virtual livestock judging, cattle evaluation, market hog evaluation. So what will happen like in dog skillathon is you'll have one of these modules that'll say dog skillathon external parts, and then you'll have one that says dog skillathon internal organs, and then it'll say dog skillathon skeleton if you're in the seniors. So you would go into these modules and then you can do it. So what it looks like when you're in there and it's time to enter it is I'll show you off of this other one down here. Is that when you go in there, you're going to enter it, and it's kind of like administered, kind of like a quiz, and you're going to see this, but it'll come up with like question number 1, and it'll say answer the skeleton part to number 1, and that's what it was for like the dog skillathon, and you type in your little answer here. Maybe it's eye socket is the example. So I'd hit in eye socket, and then I'd hit enter, and it would put it in there. For you guys that are doing horse apology, it'll populate the questions there, and that's when your team leader will read it to the rest of the group. What will not be there is this question number 2 I was going to give you as an example, is that things that are done live and virtual over the Zoom camera, produce judging, that Tyce's going to be showing you the pictures under Zoom camera, or the produce under Zoom camera, is the picture is not going to be in here. All that's going to be is like this question 1 where you enter your answer. It won't have this picture. So I just want to make sure that when you go in there, you won't see pictures all over again of what you've seen in the contest. So that's really important that you know that you're just entering your data here. What we are going to do for you this week, as Tyce shared with you, is that we're going to do a practice session for you guys this week. And starting on Wednesday morning, you can get into that practice session and go in there, and it's going to show up, and you're going to have modules, and it's going to say dog skillathon, livestock skillathon, produce judging. And those are just practice, so you guys can go do them all. Even if you're not doing produce judging, you can go in and do the produce judging practice session. We want you to figure out how to go in and out of these modules, and so that's why we're doing it that way. In that one, we will have the pictures in there, like the feed picture you just seen, but just remember at the state contest, you probably won't see that picture again, so you really do need to write it down. So questions about Canvas? If somebody wants to do a practice session or you're struggling, like, please give us a call. There's lots of us that have been working on Canvas and learning the program. And so I know that Tyce's really good at it. Megan's really good at it. Emily's going to become great at it. I don't know. There's lots of us. Amber's working on it. So all of those things that we can do to help. It's not just one of us that can help.
And to be clear too, Dawn, because we were trying to sign up for it here as we were listening, It's not live yet. So when you log in with that computer picture, Showcase Showdown is not an option just yet. So you can't pick that class because it's not available yet.
And you shouldn't have to. You may want to go in and check and make sure you're enrolled, but Dawn is working to get everybody pre-enrolled. So I would suggest when are you making them live, Dawn?
We weren't going to make them live until Monday morning.
Okay,
The practice session is going to be live on Wednesday morning. So the practice session is Wednesday. So if you haven't used Canvas, it's a great time to get in there and practice. Also back to when you were asking the conversation about you guys getting on and working as a team, is you could get on a Zoom practice and go do that practice thing together. Do you know what I mean? That'll be a great opportunity. But the practice session will be live Wednesday morning. You'll have this week to be able to play in there, you know what I mean, and figure it out. And then the actual contest links, like Megan said, will show up in there on Monday. So
I would suggest then Monday, that is June 15th, possibly going in and checking to make sure you're enrolled in the correct classes. If you're not, then you can get a hold of me or your contest coordinator and we can help you to make that happen. And yes, the practice contest on Canvas will open Wednesday, and that would be like in 2 days, the 10th of June.
So let me share that again. I think somebody put it in the Zoom. So how you get to that practice one is, let me go back so you guys can write, is that you're going to go to the well, let me just show you let me see.
So somebody asked, and I think this is how you can answer this question. What you're doing, Dawn, is are you going to send the link out to all the people? So it's your responsibility on Wednesday if you want to go practice to go check it out. So we won't be sending out a link.
Well, we can send out a link to everybody if they want it. Sorry, I was
Okay.
a different question. But this is the link. We want you to be able to go find it though. That's my worry is, does that make sense? Is that the link is the University of Wyoming extension page, and this is the link right here. Maybe I could copy this.
Megan put it in the chat box already. So if you guys want to look up a little bit in the chat box, Megan Brittingham did put that in for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's important that you know how to get to the practice class, because that's how you're going to get to the contest too. So we could send you a link to the practice, but then maybe it's not going to be like, it would be easier if you could go figure out how to get there. So we're not trying to not help you, but we want you to be successful. So this is always going to be the link wherever you go. The practice will be here, as well as those contests will be when they become live.
And we'll probably send something out because there's a lot of people who aren't on tonight. So we're probably going to have to send an email just to give you a heads up that it is opening. So we'll probably send a group email out at some point in time to let you know.
I had a private thing that I forgot to share about license. I'm sorry, but I do need to share this and I forgot. Is that we are going to send out a, I thought I had it open and I must have closed it. We are going to, oh, there it is. We are going to send out for the junior teams. You guys do get to use the word bank just like you have in the past. So we are going to send this out. I'm just going to show you really quick is that you're going to get a score sheet just like Amber showed you for livestock or for Dog Skillathon, is for junior teams, which is, you know, junior intermediate age kids. We're going to send this out to you in advance just so that you have these word banks, because the word banks, you are able to use them even though we're doing it virtually. On the seniors, they don't get that word bank, but the juniors, you get all this word bank. So there's a list of all the feeds that you could have and a list of all the equipment you could have. So you can get those now if you want them. They're on the State 4-H website under Livestock Skills Fund, but we will also email that out to all of you.
So a couple other questions that popped up. Somebody asked what time Wednesday. It will open Wednesday morning. I'm guessing, is it like Tuesday or Wednesday at 12:01 a.m. or will it be just in the morning?
It'll be in the morning, probably after 8 o'clock, because Brittany Gross has to come to work to get it turned on. So
I would say start checking about 9 a.m. and it should be there. So the other question someone asked was, do they have to enroll in Canvas, or because you're pre-populating, will you already be enrolling them in Canvas?
Yeah, so if they go in and do the practice session, they're really enrolling themselves into Canvas. So then what'll happen is we'll just put you into the contest that you are participating in. If you don't go do the practice contest, then we will have to enroll for you because we have to get you in there. So just know that like if you do the practice session or you've already done something in Canvas, there's lots of kids that have already done some stuff in Canvas. So if you've already participated in something with Canvas or your family has, then you are already enrolled in there. So we won't do it for you.
So for those of you who are choosing not to do the practice contest, so you're more than welcome to go enroll in Canvas. I mean, we're not going to stop you, and that way it's already there for when we populate. So I think the answer to that question, Erin, is yes. Please feel free to go enroll your kids in Canvas at any time that you want to, unless they already are, and then you're good to go.
And I do think it would be good to do that practice if you haven't, because if you haven't been in Canvas, I think that would be super beneficial to go do that practice so you know how to get in and out of there. So.
The next question was, what's Emily's email for table setting? And Megan did put it in there, but we are sending an email out to you tomorrow that will have all that info. So there's no need to write anything down because that email will come directly to the kids to let them know how to send their table setting picture in to Emily.
So I just had one more thing to share is that to do these contests virtually it takes a lot of volunteers, a lot of help to do room moderators and things like that. So I will say I know in horse apology and in livestock skillathon, we still are needing some volunteers. So if there's any parents or coaches that want to volunteer and serve as a room moderator, which means that you're just in a breakout room, it wouldn't be with your kids, obviously, from your county, but if you wanted to help volunteer, and I think Tycee still maybe has a few open spots for moderation for produce judging, is that right, Tycee? She's shaking her head yes. We would love help. So if anybody has time that they could volunteer and be a moderator for us, that would be fabulous. I will say for herbology coaches and livestock skillathon coaches, it's a great opportunity to be in a breakout room because that's where the contest is going to be delivered. So you'll actually get to see exactly what your kids get to see. So it's a great way as a coach to learn as well. Or if you want to learn to get better at reasons, is we can put you in a reason room with Tycee's produce judging contest and you're not taking reasons, you're just a moderator in there helping record scores. So then you get to listen to other kids give reasons, and if that would be helpful to you as a coach, that can almost be like a training thing as well. So if you are willing to be a volunteer for any of these contests, especially horse apology, livestock skillathon, produce judging, you sure can send maybe Sarah, it might be best just to send Sarah an email and she can forward it on to us so it goes to a central location, if that's okay, Sarah. Since you guys all have her email already, you can just send her a note and say that you'd be happy to volunteer. That would be fabulous. We would love some volunteers.
And please note, you don't have to know anything about the contest too. So if there's an older friend or, I mean, like a person who's home from college and they just want something to do that day, we are more than welcome to take just, you basically are sitting in a room making sure kids can answer questions or then text or call one of us if something happens. And so it does not have to be someone who's super knowledgeable about technology or super knowledgeable about the contest. We will help you get through it and provide you all the information that you need. All right, I don't think that we have anything else to share, but we are more than willing to take some more questions. I did have some questions about kids switching or dropping or adding contests. My goal is to get all of that done by the 9th, which is tomorrow. So if you know of kids who now say, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, or I really wish I would have signed up for that, we can work to help you add and subtract kids from contests, but it's got to happen within the next probably 24 hours. So just please note that after that, we'll have to turn kids away because we do need to get these contests populated and make sure that we have enough judges and we have enough stuff turned in. So we won't keep changes open probably after tomorrow afternoon. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that one. Okay, I don't see more questions coming in. I appreciate Dawn, Tycee, Megan, Emily, Amber, and our other contest coordinators for putting this together. I feel like they've done an amazing job creating some really, hopefully quality experiences, even though we're not able to get together in Laramie and do Showcase Showdown. So hopefully we're able to do this in a way that makes it positive for everybody involved. So thanks to those ladies and their teammates. I know that they all have teams that are working with them. So I really appreciate the work they're doing because I definitely don't know what's going on and couldn't do this myself. So I appreciate all of your help with this. Once again, feel free to email all of them, or feel free to email me if you have specific questions. For those of you who did order shirts, we'll be sending out invoices. That money can go directly back to the 4-H Foundation, and then we'll mail your shirts directly to you versus you having to pick them up anywhere because of what we're experiencing. So that's an option. So, all right. Thank you again. I'm going to stop recording.